Yes. Thank you so much. It's me again, Michael Kemadi, hosting Impact Masters podcast in collaboration with Africa's Talking Retold Podcasts. Coming to you live this beautiful evening. And today we have a wonderful guest. Before we start, hit subscribe button and notification bell on YouTube and on iTunes or Apple Podcast. You'll find us as Africa's Talking Retold Podcasts, Impact Masters Podcasts. Google Podcast, you'll find us as the same names. Amazon Music, amongst other podcast hosts. Show some love. We are showcasing Impact Masters across Africa, people who are making a change using tech, movers and shakers in tech. And today we have a wonderful guest. You're going to enjoy this one. We have Iving Amukasa. Iving Amukasa is passionate about how technology, especially how mobile technology, can better the way we live, learn, and interact. This guy is so brief as he comes. But when you meet him, full of energy. I knew him, I think, 10 years ago. He's been doing an amazing stuff. He's the builder of Sophie bots. He's good in Android, passionate about AI and bots. And he describes himself as a developer tech entrepreneur. How are you, Amukasa?
Shukran. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the introduction. I was nice, but then I'm better. I'm better now.
Yes. So, in this podcast, you believe that we cannot tell an African man's story without getting to know who he is. And the best way to know who someone is in Africa is just actually talking with them and understanding who they are. And for us here, we take it all the way back. Where did it all start?
Nice.
Where did Amukasa start?
Oh, tuanze Shirotama, tuanze Nairobi. Okay.
Where were you born?
Mimi ni mzao wa Nairobi, Avenue Nursing Home. Grew up in Isili for most of my life. I grew up in Isili, but then I've lived in Isili, I've lived in Mombasa.
Nice.
And then after high school, I used to spend like half of my holidays up country because nilikuwa side za Nyanza.
Okay.
I was called Maseno karibu, so I've lived across Kenya. From Isili, Nairobi, from Mombasa to watu wa Kizingo, Hamjambo, and around Maseno na ushago kidogo.
That is interesting because now that gives me a different perspective of Amukasa. And I want us to go step by step.
Nice.
So assuming, I just want to live that life that you lived with you, right? Mm-hmm. So you're born in Isili. Which part in Isili?
Ni section 3. Kuna place inaitwa Sun City. Funny enough, I still vote huko. Like in my voter card.
You're so attached to Isili.
Bado napiga kura Isili. So Isili section 3 pahali inaitwa
That is Tare, right? Tare constituency.
It's Kamukunji.
Kamukunji.
It's Kamukunji. I still vote there. Ni wapi Isili High School. Piga kura Isili High School. But then kusomea, like I used to like go to school in Bahati. To shule inaitwa Mirimaculate. Then from
that is class 1 to class 8.
Class 5. Class 1 to class 5. So Mirimaculate, and then kuna shule inaitwa Kimathi. What funniest story about this? Like you never expect like a public school to have a swimming pool in Nairobi. But then like one of the before like free education, and it was good, but then like services should have kept at that level. So like one of the I think ni Aon and Nairobi Primary, like one of the few public schools that actually had a swimming pool in the compound. So it was really nice from that to class 5.
So you went there for swimming pool or?
No, that was the funniest thing. That was the thing I remember. Like a comp lab came in later, and that's what like picked up my interest for computers. But then that was the thing that like stuck into my mind. Because imagine like living there, then the time I'm in Mombasa. and we had to our school we had to go to the school across to swim. Like you had like a week every day.
So you guys you schooled in Bahati from class 1 class 5, right?
Yeah, so
then you guys moved to Mombasa.
I moved to Mombasa. Lived with a couple of cousins of mine in Mombasa. There I was in a school called Presbyterian. Presbyterian. So across Presbyterian, there's a Catholic school right across Presbyterian that we go to. So it was like it stuck in my mind, like how can a public school have that many resources while like private schools in Mombasa, where is the swimming capital of the world, but of Kenya, but then like you don't find such an amenity. So it's a thing that struck in my mind that like if investment is made in public institutions, kids can have the best services ever. You don't have to pay, even at primary school level, you don't have to pay for at a premium so that your kid has the best service. It was and that was the thing. It's still in my mind that you had your level.
Oh, nice. That's fantastic. I wish my primary school had a swimming pool, man. It could be the best.
For public schools, like all public schools in Kenya should have swimming pools. Like the least, a computer lab at least.
Yeah. Those two,
the most important.
What about food?
Food for people, friends at Food for Education.
The other is
idea,
Food for Education.
That's idea.
For 20 bob. Is it 20 bob or 5 bob?
20 bob. And then
just reasonable.
Yeah, we need to get that.
Yeah. So any other memory for your lower primary school?
Yeah, okay. So again, I think it goes back to the... Oh, is it? No, so it goes to my mom, and that's all like it's to know me. So I was taught at an early age like there's nothing I can't do because there's a time when I was in that primary, there was a fad in my school. I Dexter's laboratory, like the cartoon. So people made like it. Everyone in my class started drawing Dexter.
That is on the blackboard?
I don't know, like in papers, like scrap papers and nini. And then they'd gotten it to a formula. Kwanza nywele yake venye inaendanga alafu inakalizo. I had like 3 curls kwa nywele yake. But me, like I was like I can't do even a level. But then me, siwezi chora. Made a mistake. I went home with a copy of one of those drawings, and then I told my mom like, I see. I draw even now. I can't draw. But then mama like, see, you'll stay there. You'll keep tracing that item over and over again until you can draw it. So since then, I learned like, oops, there's nothing you can't do
as long as you practice, right?
Yeah, as long as you stick at it. Like some things may be harder for you, yes, because like people are skilled differently. But then if you keep at it, like there's nothing you cannot. Like, there's no skill out there you can't ultimately master. Ultimately, not even master. Get to a point of competence. Like if you keep at it, there's no skill out there you can't get competent in.
And you say this, you're made to believe this by your mom.
My mom, early on. Because I cast like I made a border sunny letter picture home. My mom was like, Kazima TV, like kapo chini, keep drawing, keep trying over and over until, and then I go, I can draw Dexter from Dexter's laboratory because kitu ngumu ilikuanga nywele yake because nywele yake alafu kuna curl tatu kwa nywele yake, but aside from that his rest of face need like simple shapes. It's like straight lines, nose is like a triangle ladini. Since then I learned there's nothing I can't, there's no skill I can't learn. I can't learn, and that comes handy later on.
Sure. And does your mom really do this by convincing you why it's important, or she beats you to it? There are people who also get beaten to learn these skills.
Yeah, so me beat down ilikuwa for discipline. Ilikuwa for skills ilikuwa kaa hapo chini. You're not standing from there until you master it, and then until once I mastered like it hadi leo kitu kiwa ngumu. So if it was like this beat down ilikuwa for
in case of
indiscipline. Like me sijui hadi leo stay kwa mwizi because I think I stole like kwa nyumba yetu like
coming from Isili. That's very important to note.
Ulikuwa unaacha like penye cupboard penye kona TV like change ilikuwa inaachwa hapo. Umetumwa kitu unaacha hadi relatives like used to come and visit us washanga like how do you leave like money in there? This change. So you made a mistake like picked up 1 bob from your pile because it's open like pesa iko hapo na kutumia kwa nyumba chakula isiwe kosa. Kwa nyumba chika I picked 1 bob and bought a sweet. Like hiyo siku nilingiriwa beat down. So you allow like it's never in me to pick something that isn't mine.
Like, you just ask.
And then since then I do allow like even if I build my own house, it will be like so pesa matumizi ko place. Moja, everyone, you go buy something, rudisha change, acha. But
predictability.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I think I was moving with my dad, and then I from move like coins in from kila pa hiyo place you acha like nyuma cardboards imeingia chini ya cardboard ni hiyo place moja because everyone knows change you watch what so it's sort of the weirdest thing
you also remember from your childhood.
From my childhood. So it's everything is in the open, especially about cash, and then everyone is responsible. Hakuna tamaa ya pesa kidogo.
And how was that relocation from Isili to Mombasa for you?
So I was young, and then one of my favorite cousins called Brandon. So at first it was exciting because it's hanging out because I went for the December holiday, and they told me like you're hanging around here. I adjusted really well. And then I had like a month December to get used to the heat and all. So I think a difference was probably when I was in Isili, I didn't play as much. I was like getikali ka kwa nyumba was like nini. And then Mombasa like once the house is cleaned, msifikae kwa nyumba to Kenyan.
Because the weather does not allow you to be
and then and I think they also like out of my home like you're very centered around the TV, but then Mombasa they're like trying to go read, go find something else to go. So I played a ton. I've never played that much. Thing that happened, like it kind of like I never knew I was smart. Ben news like because you class 4, like you end up people who are bright, but then Mombasa like they start standing apart, like a classroom, like you're going to do like these entrance exams and you're doing better than everyone and that was when I was like, okay, probably there's something here. I never knew I was smart, but say Mombasa like sort of cemented. Probably because like the school is in Nairobi from like a bunch of brilliant people.
So you could say confidently that Nairobi is excess of everything.
I think it was the thing with that school. Probably the thing. I think the thing with like how a public school is so that many resources, what it attracted and whatnot, and there wasn't a difference on. And then Mombasa, that's when like the difference like came. So and I think also like coursework and material keeps changing from that class 5 plus, and that's when I started being differentiated. Like your pressure. Miss quite pressure from class 1 to class 4. So class 5 it's weird, like where teachers are talking to you like you need like you're doing good, but then you need to do. I'm like I'm doing good. It's fine. So that's probably where I learned. Like Mombasa is where I learned like I was academically gifted. Like some things came easier to me academically, and that's when I learned. But aside from that, like I never played as much as I played in Mombasa. Also with my cousin Brandon, I even learned how to do my own laundry because we used to play. Ever since Mombasa, like uniform has to be a white shirt. It has to be a white shirt. Like when my cousin like play, like sweat, get that. Everything is dirty, and then we were like, no, you have to learn to do your own laundry now. I think that's when I learned how to do that. But then I think I remember most is the two things: academically liking knowing I was like different, and then and some things came easier to me academically. But and the second thing is I never played as much as I played as I was in Mombasa.
Amukasa. So you did your class 5 to 8
in Mombasa.
Presbyterian primary school?
Yeah, Presbyterian. Yeah, so two Presbyterian. I have moved around. Presbyterian and Mwingo. So Presbyterian until class 6, and then Mwingo like class 7, and then Mwingo class 8.
Why did you keep switching schools?
Again, it's a bit complicated, but then so my dad felt the Presbyterian, I was like Atlanta was different academically, they noticed if I was in the best in that school for that year, I was too like it wasn't a big of a challenge, a bigger challenge for me, and I needed to constantly push myself. So I remember taking the entrance exam for like Mwingo, and my pass I got like an 80 on their math because they really do they had a focus on math. I got like an 86 on their math, 86% on their math people, and I was like, this is good. But then and then like the teacher says that, I did an entrance exam, that's good. Little did I know, like 10 people in their class struggled for 90 plus, like perfect scores, like in that class. I'm even friends with those guys that you know, Josephine and Josephine and Co. So like it was a whole different level.
Yeah.
I call it a drill school for KCPE. Yeah, so that was the difference. It was a bigger challenge. It was more drilling for exams. Like you can master the concept, yes, but then like exams are a test of how prepared you are for them. So it was a whole difference. Yeah.
So you did your KCPE there?
Yeah, I did my KCPE there.
And how did you perform?
I got a 420. I got
out of 500 or?
Yeah, out of 500. It was those Missy was 6. I'm not that old.
700. It used to be 700.
I'm not that old.
Yeah.
So I got a 420 then. Weirdly enough, it's the same exam I did. Like I got like and mock, and I was like, hey, it's fine. And then from there, got a 420 then. I think, I made like those.
You must have been on papers.
No, the top 100 Mombasa or something.
Okay,
like,
not nationally.
Nationally, so got a 440s and 80s. Yeah, I think this was 209 to 8. It was right after. Yeah, it was right after 2. So 8 to 9 to 8 to. I got a 420. If I'd done that,
it's pretty good. Yeah,
I would have gotten like 400 plus. I went before, but then Mungo, it was a whole new level. It's I keep joking, like my workload in high school wasn't as much as it was in.
Those guys used to drill you guys.
Yeah. So you had to like go through an entire English paper, but then not just answer questions. You have to basically replicate the entire paper on your textbook. Like you're writing every question and answering.
What was the reason for that?
They wanted to like the material to be that familiar with you, because and there's the thing, people have. I don't know why I'm surprised they're realizing this year. Like NAC keeps reusing past exam. Even for math, it was notorious. Like for math paper, we think like an entire class did it with like in 30 minutes because. Like you reconsider this, you've gone through all past papers before, and you've gone over, like you've written out every single question and the choices, and you answer for every single choice, and you've gone through it over and over again. You're like, oh, this question is from this paper from this year. The answer is C, but then you still work it out just to be sure. Like within 30 minutes, I think 70% of our class was done with the math paper. And
there used to be multiple choice.
Yeah, multiple choice, and then it's repeated. And they're like, how are you done in it's like an hour? It's a math paper is like an hour. And how you done an hour-long paper in like 30 minutes? Like, what's are you guys cheating? I'm like, no, like you recognize like question 15 is from KCPE to 201. It was actually question 52. It was question 50. That it was one of the, it was like it kept reinforcing that knowledge. Like you can master the content, yes, but then exams are a test of how well prepared you are for them. It's a thing I carry on at your level. Like exams are a thing. You are a test of how you're prepared you are. They're not just of you mastering the content.
Yeah. So Amukasa, now that we have CBC, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It keeps confusing me. Like, is it 722? Is it 423? Whatever it is in terms of the years that you take. But one thing that strikes me is how they approach different subjects. More of hands-on instead of theory. So I don't know, what's your take on that, man? Having scored 420.
Again, the education system was in need of review. Problem is, I think there's a lot of 844 implementation of CBC. So those hands-on tests where a kid is supposed to make a toy truck. People, parents are taking that to carpenters, like the local fundis, asking them to build. But so the problem is sometimes some parents are doing it right and actively actively be taking a part in the children's education. Question is the parents who are still trying to, as long as things are submitted. So that's the thing that needs to be figured out. They need to resolve that junior and senior primary maths. They need to sort through that. And third thing is resources. So for kids outside of this suburban setting, how do they get the materials to their hands? And
even here, when you have to buy things throughout the term, it's crazy, man. Especially for those who are not medium earners. And even medium earners is quite a toll, especially when you have to buy exactly what needs to be bought or print. And printing one paper sometimes can go up to like 30 shillings per paper or per page. If it's colored, 50 bob. So it's crazy. So my take actually is in terms of resources, that I see a problem. Of course, I understand if it's a bit confusing because the same people who are teaching 844 are the same people who are learning how to teach CBC. So I cannot expect them to be so perfect in it. So if I think the Education Ministry or the Kenya Institute of Education listens to this, maybe there needs to be revision around resource management, as well as also catering for those who are not in the urban areas. Where there is so much access of
resources. Yeah.
So you get invited to which national schools?
So there was this is not
was
drama.
It just one or?
No, yeah. So it was one. So I had three choices. So Mangu, Maseno. I forgot I think to me it was my third choice, and then filler ones. I don't even care about the rest.
So the most important one was Mangu and Maseno.
Mangu, Maseno. Yeah, I think to me it was third choice, and then also you have to choose a provincial law and local law. They even had beef with my aunts there. I'd chosen Aga Khan. They're one of the last choices, but I was I'm not going there. I know where.
Aga Khan is national?
No, national. For the local, I think divisional or lower.
That is Aga Khan Mombasa.
Mombasa, because it was right across the road. So I filled in the car. They filled it in because it's one of those you have to fill it in, but then you're it's even if worse goes to worse.
I'm not interested.
Yeah,
in
it's not happening. It's just filling in for the. And then I was chosen to go to Maseno. So I got a calling letter to Maseno. But Kenya, I don't know, Kenyans like being shady. So there was some drama about we can talk to someone at Mango. I was no. See, I've been called to Maseno. Let me go to.
Oh, you are not called to Maseno.
I was not called to Mango. So Mango
because national you have to be called to only one.
One choice. I never even go. I never followed up the rest of the invitation. Just the Maseno letter came in and I was
this is it.
Yeah, I'm going. This is it. So there's drama about we can talk to someone at Mango, and I was no, it's Maseno. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
But did you like Mangu or yourself?
That just so again, I never knew I was smart until class 4. So I was the people who their entire life dream about going to
Alliance,
a national. Never back of mind. It's a school. So Maseno, it's fine. It's the same caliber national level. You go look up who the alumni are and Jaramogi, the rest. Yeah, it's fine. Around the school I was in Wingo, there's an entire hype around Alliance or Starehe.
No, in every primary school that's the case, my friend.
For me that never fazed me. I was it's Maseno, it's fine. Let's go. I think I was the second school. In the last 5 years, I was the second student to be invited to Maseno in that school. From that school. I was it's fine. And I had, so I keep saying Maseno. I had the best of times and I had the worst of times. I wouldn't change it for the while. Because the thing with most people forget about this high school. It's not in the name of the school. It's sort of the networks. The people in the network. Yeah. So the people I left from high school. I have a close network with them. It's a close, tight network of guys. Whenever I need someone and I know someone who would be something who was in Maseno, I reach out to them. You even keep finding other people who are in Maseno, who cleared years away from me, and it's a fraternity. The funniest one is Frank Tambri.
You have said very important thing about schools. Sometimes beyond education, it's the people you meet. The networks that you form, and if you actually click in terms of what interests you have and what they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is very, very important even for the universities, but we'll get there. So you meet Tambre at this point. That's one of the guys.
No, so Tambre, Tambre after, years after I graduated and we fought together in tech, so Tambre speaks at a thing at Nile iHub, and then when you follow each other on Facebook, it shows he was in Maseno. He's texting me kumbu.
So did he graduate before you?
Yeah, years ahead of years. I think 2 years before even 2 or 3 years before I even joined. Like a year, yeah. So and it's a small tight network. We call Alliance people shade who keep reminding people who they went to Alliance. So Maseno used to call ourselves MOBA. So MOBA, Maseno Old Boys Association. Just a code word for people who in the know to accept. So it's Ujamal Konga MOBA. So if somebody knows Ujamal Konga Maseno, you there's a instant connection. Yeah, and I keep meeting people from Maseno even now.
Are they cool people? Or?
Yeah, the coolest people ever. You know Ichanze. Ichanze from so a couple of people in the mobile space from Maseno. Ronnie.
Ronnie who?
Oh, sorry, Roland Oti. Roland Oti.
Maybe I don't know.
Okay, the couple of
maybe I know them if I see them, but not their names.
There are a couple people in tech who are old boys. There are a couple people in the mobile space who are from Maseno. Like there's if you see us on Twitter talking, you will know it's
these are Maseno boys, old boys talking.
And they come years after, like, and you will come Maseno. The funniest bit I noticed was I was at Kabeberi, and there, like, I don't know why I've refused to eat. So people who are at Maseno will graduate years after me. Look older than me, and I keep making jokes like, wait, so yeah, like it's a small tiny network.
Also Sigu was there, right? Sigu.
I think Sigu. I think Sigu was there. Yeah. So the most surprising one was Nani was Frank Tam. Like, we'll go. So it's a small line, and then it always happens. Like, so there are Maseno always who like are into that mobile, like fraternity, and they organize school events, and then there are us who like we know each other in communities, and now you need something. The first person you ask is if you know someone from Maseno, you ping them and like, oh yeah, by the way, do you have this? You have that. Okay, so I should go back. So for context, so Maseno is a national school by name, and it has like the oldest facilities ever. Because it was set up around 1906.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then investment hasn't been on the infrastructure per se. The investment has been into programs in Maseno. Like it has the best rugby program, one of the best basketball programs. But then I think in Form 1, like my class.
What are these programs?
Yeah, like so how the school actually funds activities outside class and actively encourage them. So we spent 4 years being called gentlemen, and then we kept being told like success outside the classroom is a marker for success in the classroom. So if it's games time and you're studying, go
out there, explore life.
Oh, there, go there and play. And it's the thing at the back of my mind. So when you join in Maseno, it's you check in at the dining hall, and then all across the dining hall, there are achievement plates with all the boys and what they achieved, like across the. And that's
like you find Jaramogi or Gingo Dinga there. You find Frank Tamre, Amukasa.
So yeah. Wait, Bildad Namwamba, Bildad
Kagia or
no, Bildad. He's in tech. Okay. So yeah, he Bildad. He was like at the hockey team. So like, and then it's not only academic, like academic, like a few, but then the rest is one's in nationals rugby, one's in nationals basketball. Sans Congress won a medal at Nini. And that was instilled from day one. Yeah. So like from day one, I was like, I have to like get on one of those plaques, and it was just not for academic things, because academic is sort of like a given, because you're all with the most brilliant mind, brilliant 14-year-olds from all across. So what can you do aside from getting good grades? And for me, like for first time Form 1, like I knew, like that was the back of my hand. I tried like football. That was like, nah, this isn't it. This isn't it. I was even scared. Like this isn't it. So there was a skill gap, and I was like second term, first thing I did, I just joined the rugby training, and I learned the game from. So even that, even stronger than just being like guys from Maseno. So guys who played rugby in Maseno, it's another closer fraternity of guys from.
You guys are good with rugby.
Yeah, we do.
The only competitors were Viga or Kakamega. Kakamega nationally. They produce even national players, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So
what's the secret? Is it the food?
Again, investing in the program, like actively encourage it. Like, so there are kids like our rugby teams used to have. You only get them when you're going to represent the school outside the school, and wearing one of them was the greatest badges of one, and I was like, have to get it. It could forest green. So that's like creating that incentive programs in the school to push more people to actively pursue the sport. So aside from that, it was a stronger community. I even learned like leadership. So usually off season. Yeah. The captains and the team run practice sessions.
Which of
seriously?
What is off season in Maseno?
So rugby is in term 1 and term 2. So there's term 1 used to be. So when I started 7th.
Forgive my ignorance. We never played rugby.
It's all good.
We just the closest we get to rugby, the school I was in. There's a guy who came from Patch, and he tried to
grow
infuse those Patch is really good.
Papa, yeah.
They're like, we used to play rugby, and then we're like, show us. And then we contributed some money, bought a ball. But of course, I was in seminary, so that was not one of the biggest things to do there.
For us, like investment in the school is getting balls. Like you think you need one ball, you do not need. Like you need an entire storeroom with balls. You need an entire storeroom with weights. You need an entire storeroom with kids. You need a dedicated rugby pitch. You need the tackle bag. You need tackle bags for training. We had something we used to call a scrum machine. Like it's
for
a metal.
training.
Yeah, it's a metal thing where
you guys were serious about these things.
So
I've seen those things on the rugby, professional rugby.
So like scrum machines in school. Every program has like a scrum machine, and so that was the investment in it. And then aside from that, you're building incentive structures for more people to try out the sport. I had the best. Like I think I had more fun in the rugby pitch and in the computer lab than actual studying. I actually studying there because that was my goal. I was like, I've done XYZ. Like academics is not a problem. I want to play rugby. And
So you're saying something about off season.
Term one was term one you play. So back then, term one used to play 7th, term 2 15s. So there are two chances for you to make the team, and then in term 3 there are no like there's no like rugby games in happening. So that's when it's off season. That's when you prepare for the next season. So during then, our rugby coach would never show up for training. Like you'd show up with a coffee cup and then see what you're doing. But aside from that, it's a time for you for new people to learn new skills, new people, and then for you to hone like the basics of the game. And during that time, the coach is never like actually coach, because the coach is a teacher. Like he never showed up to actually run the training. Captains, because it's someone in Form 4, someone in Form 3, because they know the program. They're the ones who take me through drills. And it's a reinforcement on how leadership was given. One of you guys willing to stand up and willing to deliver. I think I do this in me. Like if I'm in a room and no one wants to like start a conversation, like I'll stand up.
I've seen you.
Start the conversation.
I've seen you on both sides, where you start conversation, where you start problems. And we'll talk about that in a few.
That's what I learned.
So you do all these things, but you never like immerse yourself in like a game like football, rugby, music festival, drama.
I did rugby and science corner, because when you're doing rugby, like you don't have time for anything else, because every day it's training.
Crazy,
every day like from 5 to 6
after classes.
So far, like it was games times every day. All guys go to the rugby pitch, and then the best part of it was Saturday was games. Like it was
all
game day.
Games.
It was game day. Like so for our rugby pitch, like it's how we run. Like it's gameplay rather than just training and doing drills and whatever. You're actually putting that into practice in a game. So if it's 20 of you in a pitch, you divide into 2 or 3 teams, merry-go-round playing 7. So like, and then like preps end at lunchtime on Saturday. So the entire day on Saturday, the entire half day on Saturday, the entire half day on Sunday, you're just going out there and playing, like, because you're there to play rugby. That's even had more fun on Saturdays than actually representing the school outside
nice.
School. Yeah, it was
Very
one of the fun. Even now, like we meet like someone like from Maseno or someone who did rugby. Like you spend like 30 minutes sharing stories of
how that used to be.
like of what things happened on the pitch there. On that Saturday. That was one of the funnest times. That's where people that's where you prove yourself. You've earned a spot on the team. Yeah, that was one of the funnest.
And something else, Amukasa, about the rugby. I know there's once you talk about rugby, you cannot talk about rugby without cheerleading. Were there like a strong cheerleading team in Maseno?
So again, that was whoever was loudest and stand up.
And you are loud guy.
But then,
you're not the loudest.
I'm the loudest, but then say I'm in kids. Then even if I'm on the bench, I'm in kids. That's why I don't have time to. The thing I used to like most was psych-ups before games. So even before psych-ups before games, I even remember them like the back of my mind. So that was my favorite.
You want to chant a few, maybe one, maybe a shortest one.
So this is
and they're quite intimidating.
Yeah, it is intimidating. But then I used to like simmer down and with Ebwana bwana tomba okombe moja zaidi. Like they usually like you're psyched up before before
and with more energy, saying what
yeah.
you said but with more energy.
It even like psych ups were one of the things I remember the most. What else? Yeah, that, and in game a rugby legend got to play with, and like this is the thing I kept telling people. So Billy the Kid, Billy Odhiambo, he was a year ahead of me, and I actually played rugby with him. The first time like actually had gameplay, we had that Saturday merry-go-round, and someone on my team like gets injured, and then Billy like subs in for them. And then the thing Billy does is, there's a thing in rugby when you get tackled, like you form a rack, like easy like recycle the ball. But then Billy was getting tackled, recycling the ball himself, moving forward, getting tackled again, recycling. I was like, yo, like let us play, like
as a team.
Yeah, that was the thing that one of the weirdest interesting thing I remember. So most people think like rugby is like a huge, very physical game, but then the Maseno style of rugby emphasized hands, like how well you pass, so make the ball do all the work. We'll find opportunities at the wings, and then fancy plays, fancy passes, fancy plays. So I specialized in a couple of those. That was my best. That and the computer lab were my best experiences.
So if someone could not find you on the pitch, they could find you in the computer lab.
Yeah.
So which position did you use to play on the pitch?
I played a scrum off. So scrum off is, so we had like
that is in the middle or the side?
So the middle, like it's like it's a there's a football. No, there's no football. It's like a point guard. Like you're the ones who passes between. So there are two types of team. You have the line guys who like run the ball, and you have the guys in the scrum down. Like so, the heavy guys in the scrum down. So the guys who passes the ball from the scrum down to the line guys, so that the play can happen, is called a scrum off. Whenever a rack happens, the guy who comes in and restarts plays. So it's like an orchestra. So you're the one who chooses which direction the ball goes. You're the link.
So you are the playmaker.
You're close to the you can't be the playmaker, but then the other playmaker is the guy who directly passes. So there's a guy called a fly half. The fly half is the fanciest position in rugby. They kick, they pass, they do all the fancy, they call moves. So so it's the second. Your choice is finding. So your goal was for vision. Your job was to look at the defense line. This is the rackers form. Look at the defense line, have vision and see where the gaps the gaps are. In sevens, there's an additional task, like when you're defending, there's someone like this, your line defending, and then there's someone else behind. We call them a sweeper. So in sevens, your scrum half is also doubles up as a sweeper. And then in 15s, your entire job is to make sure the ball is getting tackled. As soon as the rack formed, you're making the pass. It called for quick hands, quick pass, and smart moves. So for South Africa just won the World Cup. For comparison, for people out there, Faf de Klerk, the position Faf de Klerk plays, I used to play that. So the short tiny guy who's always always chasing other bigger people trying to make tackles. So I was playing that position.
So you still watch these rugby games?
Yes. I do. Like the World Cup that just finished up was crazy.
It was crazy.
Crazy.
So this is very interesting. Maybe we should bring some of these, sevens players, or because for us it's just checking who is doing an amazing stuff in Africa. Because rarely do we showcase, like South Africa won, but how many people get to sit down and tell what actually went on before even the winning? Because I know most of the work that is done is behind the scenes. So if we get a chance, maybe possibly we'll showcase some of those. Just if you're listening to us, please follow us, subscribe, show some love, and that
I think I can bully what's Oscar Uma. Oscar Uma is a friend of mine and he's into tech.
Okay.
So I can probably bully him. So Oscar Uma, if you're seeing this, I might bully him on the podcast.
Just let him know we would be glad to host him. Just to talk about what happens in rugby. And I'm so sad that now we don't do much nationally and internationally. I don't know what's up, man. Maybe you know more than I do.
It's management. It's like we were supposed to be in Dubai, players this. So we're out of the circuit, but then we could play like one of the expansion teams in Dubai, like in the Dubai Sevens. But then we didn't do it. So it was two things. It was management and it was coaching. So we had, please don't come and beat me. We had a guy called Bofa. I've forgotten his name. Bofa. I've forgotten it's his full name. So we went with a very physical brand of rugby where it's only kifua nyingi, boshing rather than like running the ball, and that cost us the circuit, and management cost us being in the circuit. We were supposed to be in this 7 circuit, but that failed. The small glitters of hope is that we were in the World Cup, in the 7s Olympics. We qualified for that, beating South Africa to qualify for that. So we had to go to qualifiers, and we qualified for that. So the regional heart of rugby is coming back, where we are recycling the ball because it's 7s. Like there are fewer people on the pitch. So the pitch is very huge. A few of you guys on the pitch. If you move the ball fast enough, you can find opportunities in wings. You can create opportunities in the centers, and that's we're going back to that brand of rugby. This is a newer blood who's moving apart from the Bofa Route 1, like physicality in 7s. We were getting very physical rather than making the ball do the work for us. All you need to do is like fixing problems at
KFC?
KRFUA. It's KRU or KRFUA, like either of. And then management, because I was this year I was at KBT 7. I thought it was the last 7 things happening, and then all of us out of nowhere they tell us, Safaricom 7 is back. People didn't show up for Safaricom 7, but Kawaberi was back. Was packed. Was packed. So that's a thing we need to fix. And then also we need to consider like improving that 15s game. We've been losing to Uganda in very cheap. So we need to fix
Cranes.
Cranes. Like,
what do they call their rugby team? I know the football is Cranes. Yeah. Anyway.
I think
they call so many of their products Cranes.
I think it's Cranes. Where we so it was. No, this was Victoria Cup. We lost. We lost by a single point to them in Victoria Cup. But then in the Elgon Cup, it was happening in Nairobi. Things happened. So we need to. The 15th game can improve too. So there's opportunities for that, and the talent is there.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So you get to Form 4. What was those experiences in class that you remember vividly?
Okay. So I think at Form 4 that's when I figure out like I'm going into tech full time. So we used to have like late prep. So our late preps like used to end at 11, but then from 9 p.m. you could leave. People are doing computer science, like computer studies programs. You could leave class and go to the comp lab, and like that's what I used to do. And then Friday nights we used to pull all night, lighters in the comp lab. So they go to a time like our projects were done, like fully entirely done, and just having fun playing around with computer labs. You remember that Form 4 you usually like make a scrapbook where people leave their numbers. I made one with like the same way we're using like Microsoft Access,
Visual,
and then Visual Basic, Visual Basic for application, like it's coding on top of like the old Access, and that's why like I learned like how to do like even though I don't like relational databases in actual real life, I learned like basic for relational databases there and built my first project. By the time we were done, like I built like one of those like scrapbook, and I was telling guys, over prep, when's this game time? Kujeni comp lab man, details, and you like it was a fancy way to like collect. And then I knew like that's when I knew I am going. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with computers.
So how did you perform in KCSE?
So it was funny enough. So like I knew I was going to do like we all knew like a ton of us were going to do well. But then I think like for that like class 3 courses like for 3 years, 3.5 years, I was like leaving for games time. Like you're doing classwork, but then 5 games time. But then in Form 4, after the season ends, like there's no more. There's nothing else you're training for. So I was only leaving for the computer lab. I did well. I got an A. I was expecting an A minus in the list because I was the middle of the pack. So like we had you're 300 of you in a class, like Form 4, like not in a single class, like your entire, like all the streams combined, like 5 streams, like 300 plus of you. They used to award like the top 80, like every year, like the top 80, and I was usually like at the tail end of the top 80 guys. So I was in the middle of the pack. I was expecting like an A minus. I got in A. But again, like,
because what about the books? It's just about what you can do with it.
Yeah, what you can do later. And then the thing, my biggest takeaway was what's this called? Was I was going to do things with computers, and what else plus academic knowledge can you put on the table? But again, I think I'm also jaded against the entire education system, because you usually think like, yes, you got a opportunity, you got an A, like the world should be opening up to you.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't. Like so you have to like still hustle on your own. You actually have to get opportunities on your own, and that's what I learned. Like even for anyone out there who didn't do as well as I did, it doesn't matter as much as you think. Once you've achieved that, like that's the thing. It's on to the next achievement. Yeah, there's on to the next achievement. And for me, that's when I think before I even knew it, I think I was sort of done with school. I knew I was working with computers the rest of my life. So right after Form 4, even before results came in, I was going to work with computers, and at that time the first frontier was Android app. So I did well. I wasn't caught in the fanfare of, you got A's, funny enough, I never got onto one of those plaques because of rugby, because like the highest we got a silver medal for 15s when I was in Form 3. But never won any national title after that. So I wasn't in one of those plaques for rugby, but I got in one of those plaques because of like academic performance. Like I got like 91, like people in like 100 people in my class got A's, like a third of my Asian my class got A's. Another thing
is including A minus.
No, it's just plain A's, like hundreds of us, like a third of us got A's. And then what else? There used to be a friction between my parents, because they see I'm in the middle of my park, and they thought I wasn't performing as well. I was like, no, like our tests aren't standardized. The grading isn't standardized. The grading is normalized. Like I'm doing, and my dad will show up like for those like academic links, and they tell them, your child is doing. Your child is doing. Me, no, I'm doing fine. They used to like book for me holidays. Those like holiday tuitions. You go to holiday tuitions, and you notice like you are ahead of everyone and like, why are you making me?
I need to rest and maybe have some good time. But then now that you've mentioned about all tuition, do you advocate for those?
No, like just do you like let the school give the child an assignment, and then let's do it. Funny enough, when I was in school, you'd have like 3 set of exams, like opening exams, opening exam, middle exam, and then I used to perform better in the opening one than the rest of the school. Because when I was in school, I'm only studying in the classroom, and in prep, instead of the time I'm doing other things outside of classroom. But then when I'm home, I have to like finish up my curriculum, and then I try and read ahead. So I used to spend holidays like doing reading ahead a bit. So past holidays, like first exam, like opening exam, I used to like do really well. Everyone else was there is rusted, and then when I'm in school, like it normalizes for us. Even think like people ops, like my index was like 91, and like because I was like, they did that exam at the beginning of Form 1 entering, and then they used to like do like weekly tests and reshuffle you according to that. So with the reshuffling, I think I was in the second last stream. But I was like this, all of these tests don't matter. Like the one that matters is the final exam. So I'll keep doing rugby, I'll keep doing other things. So when it came to the exam, people were like, how Amukasa, how are you in next? Like that was the second class, like, and I was constantly I was in the bottom, like 2000, because like I knew in the long run,
this is it.
Yeah, the final exam actually, the rest was just filler. So I think my thoughts on education was probably because I didn't have to work as hard as most people. But then like it's just step one. Like the other things you need to achieve, it's how you apply the knowledge and how you get to industry that actually determines what you do in life. Like I've never been known as like I got an E, I got a 14. No one has ever asked for that professionally as I'm working in industry. It's always what can you do, what problems can you solve, and if you figure out the education, if you want your child to be like academically excellent, let them know like their path is to get into academia and to contribute new knowledge. It's not it's not an edge for better paying. Yeah, a better paying job. Yeah, it's not like an edge for a better paying job, because like in this like work environment we're in, it's not consistent. It's not consistent. You have like brilliant people like burning up the papers. They're like, I can't get a job. Like the industry doesn't care about your E. It cares about what problems you can solve. So that's an knowledge I'll give you. But if you can do good, do well. I don't mean check out from school. I'm telling you, like, do your best there, but then no, your path is limited. Are you going to be an industry an academic full-time contributing new knowledge, or are you trying to be a professional to actually solve problems in the industry?
Yes. So I have to ask you this, because even me, it fascinated me. I was okay. I'll tell my story one day, and I keep telling my guests that every guest I host, they always offer to be the host. And by the way, to be honest, I've not gotten the right hosts to ask me the right questions. But I'm not saying you can't. It's just that you need to get in that flow. One thing that fascinated me in high school is the guy who used to be number one. And I inquired about him for my school. And one of the things that was fascinating about him is that first, that is Form 1 and Form 2, he used to be number last.
And then he stepped up.
Then second term, Form 2. Oh my goodness. The guy gets to number 2. Term 3 gets to number 1. And the rest is history. No, this guy used to get perfect scores. And another thing that I noticed about him, he wasn't that guy who is a bookwormer. It was, the troubles that you can think about. He was actually in those things that you cannot imagine.
The high school.
So I don't know about your guys now that you are index 91. What was it like to be index 1?
So there are two things. The people who are like I told you, like I think probably brilliant people do not face me because I've been in sort of environments where everyone is brilliant. So I've noticed two things. Yeah, they were brilliant, yes. And then they worked at the exam. It was not about mastering the content. It's again because it changes from multiple answers to written open-ended answers. They used to like answer questions the way the examiner expected them to answer. So the best friend of mine is called Rafael Riguanzo. I think he's at Google Rafael. So I looked at one of his physics papers. His grade was out of 70. He got like a 60 some there. So I was like, I know the content. Like all my answers. Like for me, I would go on long winding stories where. But then he was like exact point to deliver the nini. So he was answering the questions. They learned how examiners went to the guide and learned how they expected questions and answers. Because I think the only thing I did.
Were you taught how to answer these questions? How examiners expect?
For me, no. I think at Form 4 when you were revising, that's when you got like when it's like sunk. But then before that, like you go through how they answer questions and like they were prepared for the exam, like answering how the examiner expected the question to be. Like. So
are you saying back at home they used to have these guys who prepare them, or?
No. Like it's going through, like it's preparing for the exam. Rather than just reading the content, it's going people in all other classes asking for their papers, so they figured out how the examiners expected the questions to be answered. Like there's a beef I have with like English Adi or Leo, like English literature. No, it's like I've read the material. I know what I know like the answer. I know the content. I know the themes. But then if you do not provide 3 themes that as expected in whatever teacher's guide they've offered, they won't give you the marks. But I'm like, it's literature. It's like how you understand and you express. Because I'm like explaining theme X, Y, Z in my way of explanation, and it makes perfect sense. Then no typos. But you're not getting the marks because the teacher expected this list from this teacher's guide, this list of themes and these explanations to them. So that's a thing. And it's one whole thing was broken with 844. And inside our school, like so again, our grades weren't like normalized and whatnot, so it was that split difference of marks, and it was like like it's and I was
doesn't make sense.
So I have this Italian startup thing where anything more than what you need to get initial feedback is wasted. So I was like, those guys, but then they spend their entire existence for the 4 years providing answers the way examiners expected them. But then again, like when that sample size is increased to the whole of Kenya, I am in the top percentile because there's that differences. So it's a thing I figured out. Like I figured out how to go through school with the least effort on academics and then the most effort on other extracurricular stuff because I knew like there's a life outside the classroom.
So you got your A. Did you get which university did you get invited to?
JKUAT. But then I chose actual science. And then I deferred actual science. So at the back of the mind, I had already learned how to write Java. I already learned that year you have where people go do ICDL.
Gap year.
Yeah, where I went and I locked myself home and I told you I wasn't to do. I was spending the rest of my life with computers. So I learned how to moving from VBA because I know VBA this is just a thing for school. Let me learn what actual people in the industry are like. So learned Java and learned Android. So I was already an Android developer before I joined, and I was choosing actual science. I was telling myself it's the math because it's the mathematics of risk, especially applications in insurance. So I was telling myself it gives me a grounding for the math behind AI because I knew ultimately I wanted to do AI things. And again, I kept getting jaded with the education system. So because for a fact, actual science shouldn't exist as a cause. Because around the world, people do mathematical courses, so core math courses, pure math courses, and then take the exam, study for the actual exam, and if they pass it. So someone with a mathematics degree, someone with a statistics degree can actually study for the actual science exam and pass it. So those two things. So it shows how it's so commercialized, especially tertiary education, it's so commercialized where faculties constantly keep trying to add programs that are hot, and then the market keeps telling them these people you've given us are
useless. There are so many of them.
But they're underprepared for the world because they're putting what's hot on the placard of the course, but then offering the same academic because the same units we took was the same financial engineering guys were taking the same units we took, but then before
there's a course known as financial engineering. What does that do?
It's same thing, it's the mathematics. It's so the thing
gaming the system or what?
No, it's learning about financial instruments. It's the same we're doing. It starts with a math, statistics, probability statistics, and what's this thing called? And calculus concepts. And then aside from that, you're using calculus concepts and math concepts and discrete math concepts to figure out things around something like present value. If I'm buying a bond at 100k that pays me 10k every month, what's the present? What's the value today before I get earning 10k, or what's the accumulated value after 10 years? So there's math around that, and that's where that's most of the core applications. Financial projections, studying financial reports, and the like. So I used to share a couple of units. There's even a programming one, they have a relational database unit that I used to absolutely crash without studying because and they had one for R stats, the programming language R stats. But then again, it's a combination of units without telling you how it applies, how the sum of the parts make the whole. That's the thing that's broken with and in the working. If there's something in insurance called reserve, making reserve. If you're taking premiums for people, how do you budget for reserves for in case claims get made? So that people don't leave school without knowing how to do that. But then they have the underlying mathematics on how to do it. So that's the disconnect.
But would you not say that even with any other course, they give you the foundation? Now, how you choose to implement that or practice that,
it's up to
it's just your effort. Because even in computer science, you're not taught how to code most of the languages. But fundamentally, all the languages use this theoretical approach to do X, Y, Z. And then if you join a community or a hackathon or a boot camp or you're building a system, then you start out to see them in action.
Practice.
Yeah.
That's the problem. People go to other guys are going to campus as a ticket to the job market. Like people are using that. Like I'm going to that, learn the skills that take me to the job. But you're not being taught how it actually applies in the real world. Like I remember there's a unit like a calculus 3 unit. Or after you learn about it, the application segment is on how it's used to calculate the surface area of some geometric shape. And I'm like, the actual real life applications are not telling you this is not the application you're looking for.
Until you're in the ocean and you're lost.
Yeah, because calculus is used in machine learning for something so that like an AI model can understand content down, like can remember content, and so something called chain rule that actually applies in machine learning. We never learn that in class. After you do present value, after you do expected value in statistics, like those coin flipping examples, you never learn like how gamblers actually use it to be how casinos use it to make sure they're profitable, because that's where it applies. So that's the and then people keep going to campuses as an out of poverty, as an outlet to get into the job market. But there it's not. It's to create more academic. It's to create more people who contribute more knowledge into the what you know as knowledge. People think getting a PhD makes you a better fit for a job, but then no, getting a PhD is you saying I've studied material that is, and then specialize on this small area to advance the whatever we as human understand as knowledge, moving it a step forward. It's not to look better on your CV. It's not to look better on your CV, and that's the disconnect. And we need to fix that in how we sell education and how campuses. And because they even mistreat people, like how like before exams, like the lines of like usually cues around finance teams, like things that are mess in schools, and people don't care because they think they're giving you an out of poverty, while it's not in assets. They're there to create more knowledge.
And it's a business after all.
I had a cousin and my sister graduating the other day, and I was just asking, like, just for fun, because I'm the only one who don't have a degree in the family. I asked, like how much are they paying? How much do they make you pay to rent the graduation gown? Because there's also that feeling of vanity that, like it's the photos, my family is there, and it's also like it's generation. Like there's some a ton of families that never had like it's a point of vanity metrics where I have a college degree. So we need to grow that, because the job market has absolutely changed, and it needs us to change and evolve for that.
Yeah. So Amukasa, you have said something very important here, that you had an A, you got to JQuad, but you don't have a degree. What happened?
I don't have a degree. So funny story. Before even when there's a program by Safaricom called Upwiz, so I entered my first hackathon. Upwiz. Yeah.
Which year was that?
20
that you participated?
2014.
So you are with this, what is the name of this team?
The guys who Teacher was before us.
Teacher, the guys who built Teacher were called what, something system? I can't remember.
They're now Kinobi. The guy who runs Kinobi is the guy.
The other guys,
But we're the Guide Rig crew.
So it was My Teacher versus... yours was?
No. So mine was called Altipedia. So again, mindset from school. We took past KCPE papers and then put them into a trivia game app. So the same way, like I learned to get up for 20 years, like drill past content, put past content and past papers in a way that's interactive and fun. So it's called Altipedia. Like got like at a height, we got like 300 users at a height. And then the funny thing then was people didn't understand the place. So like data charges were so high then. Android phones were just getting cheaper. People used to disable the Play Store on their phone because I think the cheapest data packet was like 20 bob for 100 MB on Airtel. That was like the cheapest data packet. People didn't want to update apps on the Play Store. And then I remember like guerrilla marketing through that app. Like you'd have to like, get someone's phone and disable the Play Store and then download the app for.
When you say that, Gen Z will not understand. I don't know if you're Gen Z, but Gen Z will not understand you, because nowadays it's just what is the Wi-Fi password, right? Then it was about the bundles, and that handed moment between life and death. So should I go for a mess for like 2-3 days, or should I buy 20 MBs? Something interesting by the way that you mentioned also, I think when I was at the university, I participated in a startup weekend. Together with Rogers Andati. He was a really good Android engineer. I think he's still an Android engineer.
Nice.
Nanda works Banta, and we teamed. And another lady who was not a student actually, and we built an application called Masomo Moja.
Nice.
So it was around harmonizing education. Still, I feel that idea could be really something because we are looking at it like, why do you have international schools and I don't know KCSE, I don't know what not, international bakukas. Why don't you put it together and then when someone is learning, they can learn all these but make a choice. So that was the concept.
Nice.
We never pursued it beyond startup weekends.
That's the problem. That's the problem with like programs.
But I met some cool people, and also we had some really good weekends.
Nice.
Because I don't know if you have ever participated in startup weekend.
No. So Nairobi Startup Week, like do one of them, but no. So I think Upwiz was my first thing, and then I was like, and then with Upwiz, there was like a million bob in funding at the end of it, like so incubation, and then versus it started at the same time as JCOD. So I was like, I deferred, and I had the option to defer JCOD. Like JCOD is like
you deferred at which year?
I first year, like before I even joined. Like I deferred to do like
rather than joining, you deferred.
I deferred for a year to do like the Safaricom thing. So looking at JCOD, and then like we got to work from Strathmore, like IB's Africa at Strathmore. I got into the space.
Come, I didn't meet you because I had I don't know, I think also I participated as a judge or something. I can't remember how I participated, but I was
around Upwiz.
Nice. There's a guy who used I think I should bring him here. His name was Sam Nunjoma. He won one of those Upwiz. Sam Nunjoma. He was really a ninja.
But what did he build?
I can't remember, man. It's been a while. But he used to build some great apps.
Okay, nice.
He won maybe 2 or 3 apps when they were running.
That's interesting. No, by Safaricom, like Upwiz. That's it.
Because it was a partnership between Safaricom and IB's Africa.
Africa.
I'll show him after this so that you see if you know him. But I believe that those are some of the opportunities that are actually propel some of the solutions. And I've seen a lot of guys actually come from those hackathons and build some proper startups. My magazine reel from Mabiria was the one who won. Magazine reel? But then aside from that, Guide Rig were one of the second runners up, and they're still running even now. Like Guide Rig is still up. I've even used their service to ticket some of my beer things on the website. So Akina James Reed Mwindi, James Mwindi. So a couple of companies that still exist from. So the teacher guy now runs his own like consultancy called Kinugi. It's a cloud something.
It's Alan Mufana. So people come from and build actual companies from the side. So the funny thing is, me and you was entering I was it was my first foray meeting. Like I was developing at home. It was my first chance. Like me was entering a computer
bedroom.
Bedroom. Like I was entering it as a techie. So let me see how I match up against other techies. But then you get in and you're learning all this business ideas. Now it stuck to me like being an entrepreneur is a path in being a tech. Like you can build a company of your own just from building software. And since then I haven't looked back. Like some of the lessons I learned then apply. I keep seeing them in other programs I'm in, but then like I've learned them at a very early age. Like I was 19 then. Like I made so there's something called a business model canvas. Like people don't do like 22-page business plans to get it's a single page business model canvas that clearly articulates what you're trying to build. I built my first financial projection. Then I learned how to like properly style my pitches from from then. Even like today, like I go like over pitching sessions, do training pitching sessions, and then I deliver my first pitch. They're like, okay, just change these 2 things, and you're good. You go, well, you know, like when you get into a program, and they don't to embarrass, they embarrass themselves before guys they're finding them. They wanted to make sure you get clean. So I do that one of those like demo pitches, like exercise pitches, and they're like, okay, Amukasa, you're good. Let's go. Let's go to the change 1 or 2 things. We are set for the next one. So I got most of my core skills from that program.
So JKUAT is still waiting for you.
So it's funny a story. So I joined JKUAT. So I never
joined after 1 year.
After Appus, I joined JKUAT. But then again, like I've spent a year outside. Like my expectations and everyone in my classroom.
Did you win, by the way, on the Appus?
No, I never got. But I've never won. So it was it was $10,000 and then about like $3,000 separate per categories for other guys. So we never actually got funding from that program. But then I learned the program. I got into the ecosystem. Then even after Appus, like applying for other things, I got to IHAB for my first time. After that, I got into the community. I got into those WhatsApp groups for the first time. Then and I became a part of the ecosystem. Ecosystem then. So and then after that, after things don't happen, I'm like struggled past not getting past 300 users. I'm not looking at other opportunities like fun things around. EdTech are not happening. I go back to JKUAT, but then 2 things struck me. Like my mindset was different than anyone else in my class. Probably because everyone else was fresh from high school then, and I've like seen the world. I got actually hung out with the late Bob Collimer, like right from Appus. Like got hung out with him, like the showcase after like the Appus thing. Got hung around Appus. So I've seen the world. I worked from Strasbourg for ages. Well, everyone else is being forced to like follow a dress code, like because you're going to Appus. Like I've seen like this another level to life rather than just get to school, get people. I had access to spaces where I would never have access. I think Safaricom invited us to they usually run a program. They usually help run an innovation program for high schoolers. I've forgotten his name. They invited us to like help judge and what. So I've seen.
Is it with their M-Pesa?
No, not with M-Pesa Academy. It was just like the innovation now of Safaricom.
But how is that doing? Now that you have mentioned it, I've just thought it's just about.
Okay, I mentored in something called Innovate Kenya. So it's a program for high schoolers. And they came over, build a product within a week. So the problem with SAF is rather than specializing in a specific tech stack, these kids are learning everything. Like in high school, you're learning like Python. You're learning Python. You're learning like you're not told like this applies to this, and this applies.
You're learning.
You're learning like they're getting introduced and they're getting introduced to everything. And doing everything from IoT to like Python apps and web apps.
Let me tell you something about that, and I think these are mistakes people are making. Right. So like for us at Africa's Talking, we do monthly hackathons every last Thursday of the month. And people build solutions. So if you come there and see people actually build a solution that actually can be an MVP within 12 hours, you assume these guys, it's easy to do it. You forget maybe some of these guys are graduates, some of these guys are maybe in their 4th year, some of these guys have participated in like 10, 15 hackathons. And then you assume if you go and teach some bunch of high school kids all these technologies, which people take degrees of 5 to 6 years to learn, they just happen to become developers. Okay. I am not refuting that you can teach yourself how to be a developer. But being a developer is not easy. All right? Now, leave that alone. Being a computer scientist is even harder. Being an engineer is also harder. So let's people not assume that because you can get some tutorials on YouTube or some PDF books about computer science, now you become a developer. No. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of extra working hours, practice, a lot of failures. I don't know if there was a developer who built their system once. Even some CTOs, they build and make get bugs. Yeah, which
bugs
they spend right.
No matter how skillful you are with the tech stack, you will even with the solution if you built 100 times before, you will always face bugs.
Absolutely. So let's get that out of the way because I've seen that notion, and also I've seen a lot of institutions come up, teaching all these ulabalu, and then they end up churning out some incompetent guys over and over and over. And I know parents spend a lot of money to pay for those kids. So please, I'm not discouraging people from pursuing these. I'm just saying, just be realistic.
No, and let it be specialized. Like, you have a program teaching web, Android, IoT at the same. No, like focus on one.
Oh yes.
If you
and
just
go
come
deep.
in, go deep. Like focus on one thing so that they're skilled. I think I'd love if M-Pesa. So even a time the teams come and you're asking, like, they don't want to do work during the week they're supposed to build an MVP. They tell them, they tell you they've already built a product. And you ask to see, they're like, mwalimu wako na. Like, see, it's your project. Like, if you even at least have the files on your machine. On your email. Yeah, like, give them one day. You give them one day for the teacher to deliver. Like, if that's not happening, no, we're taking this idea, building it to an MVP. So even if high school, like, have the Science Congress project, like, have them build a project, then teach them the tech for whatever solutions they want to build. Because learning me, I wouldn't have learned Android, AI, Python when I was starting in 2014. I started with Android first and mastered it first. So if this program, if people are learning starting earlier, they should focus on one thing. If you find a program trying to teach everyone someone everything, it's a red flag.
Yeah. So you get to JQuat first year. You start introduction to everything. How did you feel about that experience?
The point of the disconnect was like everyone else was doing that. Get good grades, get a job. I was like, I'm here for the AI for math, and because already in tech, I'm just looking for opportunities in tech already. Well, everyone else is trying to focusing on the classwork. Me, I'm looking for events outside. Like even inside JQuat, I'm getting invited to speak at the Google I/O Extended because I'm active in the tech scene. I'm always looking for opportunities outside class to meet people in industry and interact. And I knew I wasn't going in the long run. I wasn't going to end up in the insurance piece. Because there's that thing about academic professional papers for actuaries and not. So the thing, like there's a funny thing that happened. Like the people who in my class who are struggling for the first of benches in a classroom, like that didn't happen. And then I was like, again, standing up things, like always the guy at the back of the room, like, if like the entire classroom is empty, no one wants to contribute, no one wants to sound stupid, like providing a bad answer, like always the guy like offering an answer and answering stuff. And like, people thought in my class I was smarter than them, and they kept asking for my assignments, like after like whatever assignment was due, like they kept asking for money in the group chat. But then me I was done with the assignments like before everyone else, so I can go back to building and right now, like whenever I got like I was done, and there was people in my class thought I was smarter than them, but I was not smart. Me, I was like, I knew what I wanted. I was doing my classwork early and fast enough so I could go and find opportunities outside the classroom. So I was the one interested in club activities outside the classroom where everyone else was focusing on class. So there's that difference. Whenever like an event is happening at IHAB, they're like, how are you going all the way from Juja to Gongro for an event? Because I want to be part of the ecosystem. I want to be active. I want things to happen. And then after those, they have like long breaks after like a
summer break.
So summer break. I've been playing around with chatbots for a while. There's a program by NILAB and UNFP Kenya asking for innovators to build on sexual health, and we apply.
This is year 20?
16.
Okay. That's when we met. That's around time.
Yeah, I think yes. That's when I was like hanging around. Like whenever I leave like I have two things. Whenever I leave the house, I never want to go back early enough. So whenever I'm out for something, it's usually like I usually left for the demo day for the thing I was mentoring at. And when it ends on Saturday, I'm like, let's go to IHAB. Let's see what's happening around that IHAB NILAB. And then I find there's an Atlassian user group event. And I'm like, I use like Bitbucket. Let me join it. So I was like today probably it's. Yeah, but I'm even less like active than I was then, because you wanted, like I know, like the hack to getting things happening is letting people in our industry know you exist and know your skill set. So even before, like I knew even Sam Gishu. So Gishu was running a program. Like I even knew him before they came to JCode for the like roadshow. I knew the project was running. And they applied and we got funding. And I think
that's when you built SophieBot?
SophieBot, 2016.
But tell us about SophieBot, please.
So
I know you've told this story several times, but of course. SophieBot is AI to artificial intelligence to answer your questions on sexual and reproductive health. Yes, I just said sexual and reproductive health because this side of the world it's awkward and hard for people to talk about sexual health.
So when the call for action was, there's a lady called Sophie whose life gets messed up because she didn't know enough about sexual health. We're calling all innovators to build solutions to help solve for sexual health. Information on connecting youths to services. And here I'm like playing around with bots, and I'm like, bots can be used to provide information securely. The information is as per the user wants. Like, come ask a question, get answers, and you can make it anonymous, make it safe. And that's how Sophie bot was born. Even the name Sophie was named after the program.
Sophie is a lady's name, or
so one of the marketing material had a character called Sophie. One of the ads, like asking us to apply for the program, was called Sophie. I applied. I even I know guys in the industry. I even know who's going to vet your application. I know a couple of guys. So one of my aside from Sambijuru, the Josephine Mwangi from Nailab, I knew. I used to hang around. They used to have like a Friday like hangout session, like drinks and whatnot, pizza and soda. So I used to like hang out around there. So I knew the space really well. So when I was applying, I was like a stranger applying. Even
you
knew
had the connections.
Yeah, and even before I apply, I have to have like a fast prototype of the product built, and applied. We got funding, and I think after we got funding, so school resumes. I went to a total of 3 classes then, because it was commuting. They usually, once you get into a program, like usually like training sessions afterwards. So each time I had a choice between class or a training session. I always went to the training session, and then after the first 3 months, I think the thing that broke the camel's back was there was an event happening at Safari Park. So the Kenya Healthcare Federation was running an event, and I showed up to an exam in a suit. I think, and then after I did the exam, I was like, it was a cut. I was like, by the way, I can't keep doing this. Since then, I dropped. I've never looked back.
So you never went back to...
Never went back.
You never deferred, you just walked
dropped out. That's the true meaning of dropping out. And there's always... and then again, like the systems were so bad. Like this, again, Jico, your systems are so bad. Like every time I had exams, I had to like go and clear out with the DCFS, because I deferred a year earlier. They haven't updated their records that I'm back in school. I even called before I went back to school, like, after the deferment, like, which process should I take to join back after deferment? They're like, just come up and register with everyone. But then once you do register with everyone, there are always problems in the system. So
because they're confused, which year did you get in? And they have to update their system that you're taking an exam. Have you paid the school fees?
Yeah, it's always a mess and Jico thing. And then again, I think it's one of those privileges. You do well, you think the world opens up for you, but then it's a whole new sessions of so people, if you see someone who hasn't graduated, it's not even academic performance. It's the bureaucracies in such institutions are so bad because they have to cater to a lot of people, and second, I think the guys running a program are not motivated enough to smoothen the experience for everyone. So it's campuses are.
Do you think in future you'll open your own academy or campus? With a better experience.
I'll consider. I think there are too many people doing that also. So I help, like, there's one program I tried running, offering like tech and the likes. I'll consider that. Like, I'll contribute if there are any tech focused ones where they need like a mentor in person. I'm willing to come talk, and offer guidance. We'll see. Because education is a whole. Because I've seen how hard it is to market and sell, and most people are selling direct jobs after graduation, which isn't always a reality. So you have to build out a pipeline for how you actually plan to deliver the what you offer. But then again, so best program I've loved, it's look at Innovate Kenya, look at Jimmy. There's a program called Global Minimum, and then a program called Innovate Kenya. That's the best program I've seen in the country. And
this is done by who?
So the company is called Global Minimum. It's an NGO. It's a Global Minimum, and the program is called Innovate Kenya, where kids in high school propose ideas. They have a $500 budget for a prototype, and within a week you sit down with them and train them. So even till now, like previous alumni, previous mentees from that program keep reaching out to me and asking for help and asking for tech help. And for some, you see like the questions are getting more technical, so they're becoming better techies at their craft and the like. So that's one of the best programs I like around here.
Nice. So if I want to use a Sophie bot, what is that persona?
Oh, yes.
Because of course it's sexual education, but at what point do I say, okay, maybe I need to talk to Sophie about at what age gap are you addressing? Those things.
Yeah, we've been asked that question. So we even asked, like, do you offer like age appropriate questions? Like, if a user is 15. So no, the only safety to SophieBot is she's limited to your curiosity. So if you want to ask about condoms, ask. If you want to ask about X topic, ask. Our job is to understand your question and answer them. So far, our target is 13 to 25. But then we're getting questions from older demographics. So we're getting questions around menopause. We're getting questions on libido after getting a pregnancy. So our age group is also we have an outlier age group aside from guys who want to aside from people who there are bigger problems around sexual health aside from teenage concerns around sexual health and preventing teenage pregnancies and the like, and we need to address those. There are a lot of people who have questions around fertility, a lot of people who have questions around the gender, like if they're trying to get a child, like how do they determine what actually determines the gender of the child. So there are those questions that keep coming up. So but so far it's around 13 to 25 is the age we are targeting.
So that's very important. Something else, maybe these I'm asking from out of my curiosity.
It's fine.
With SophieBot, did it evolve now after 7 years?
Yes. So I should go to that. So in 2016, we were pretty terrible at answering questions because the technology was rule-based, where you had to predefine a question and expect an answer. You can come and say hi with HI, but someone else can come and say hi with typed as HAE. So if you're not like put that onto the system, you won't be able to understand and provide an answer. And we used to have a default response for that it was let me think about, like, whenever something wasn't defined in our rules, that was a problem, and it kept like bothering our users. It even like stopped growth for a while. We got about 3,000 users, about 6,000 questions, and that's it. So, and we had we were at a turning point. At a crossroads, do we simplify our solution where it's press 1 for STIs, press 2 for information on sexual health, or do we figure out how to answer questions? The problem is called natural language processing. NLP. And I was like, the bigger opportunity to learn and grow and apply and be profitable and be valuable is by solving NLP. So from then on, I got into learning what was state of the art then in solving NLPs, and I've grown with the ecosystem. It hit me like it was still an unsolved problem, and we evolved the technology from like rule-based to something called LSTMs, what Cool Translate was using then, to now we have a language model. We have transformers, what Akina ChatGPT are doing. We deployed this version of SophieBot that uses a transformer, the same technology behind ChatGPT. So GPT in the ChatGPT means global pre-trained transformer. So transformer is a type of a neural network that performs really well with sequential data, like conversations, like text, like my name is Iving. Oh, hi, nice to meet you, Iving. My name is SophieBot. So those type of data, this model performed really well, and we deployed our version last June, June before ChatGPT dropped in November, because they had released the paper GPT.
And it's last year or
last year?
Okay.
Yeah, last year. I had to remember. So this is most last year. So we figured out the solution we figured it out like 2 years before, but then it wasn't trained on our data set. So we had like 30,000 plus conversations on that old underperforming model, but we had about 3,000 more questions where we used to train new technology. Like, does this technology work for us? No, let's try the next one. So you had to move from 3,000 cleaned questions to 30,000, so we can train the new technology and deploy it. So that took us until June last year. That's when the new technology was deployed. And once that happened, we were lucky enough, the hype around bots starts again. ChatGPT is released, and people are interested with what bots can do, and that's why we had a new breath of life, and started like doing things again.
And it's good that you have clarified that, because there was a time you guys we went silent, and then of course ChatGPT became global this January, And these guys have been releasing weekly updates. I don't know if you know this, but they have made actually even those guys who dismiss bots and look down upon bots actually rethink. Every other company now is infusing the ChatGPT enterprise version into their modules and tools to make sense or to complement what people can do.
Yeah.
So your usage has increased immensely now that people understand these now the technology you have to live with.
Yes, like so even the hype, like people like those are bot, like when you started in 2016, those are bot hype because Facebook had just introduced bots on Messenger.
Yeah.
That bot hype died, and then ChatGPT like restarted bot again. So we were there, like right there, like luck is opportunity when opportunity meets preparedness. Yeah. So we were just right prepared for another hype cycle, and we've been riding that since then. So people are interested in us, and people are excited about it. Funny enough, and so I talked to Graham in 2016 when you were starting on, like, how do you deploy SophieBot on SMS? But at the back of the mind, you're like, we're not good at answering questions. Yeah. So this will wait. And then after June happened, the next time we got funding this year, June. So after June last year, we got a new round of funding June this year. And then there's the thing, like, there's a point where when you announce here, you're getting funding, yes, but then there's a delay between when actual funds are went to your account.
Yeah, true.
So around this August, when actual funds hit our accounts, we went live on SMS the next week. So we've been live on SMS, and people on Instagram.
This is 2G technology.
Yeah. So people on Instagram are more excited on SophieBot on SMS than SophieBot on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Like on June last year, we were only
Why
on
is
the
the
app.
reason?
Probably it's way more cheaper, and it's more novel. Like it's an AI application on SMS. It's the first time it's happened. So a lot of people are excited about that. So we tell people, like we run back-to-back ads. One asking people to go use SophieBot on WhatsApp. The other one asking people to go use SophieBot on SMS. And more hits are coming on SMS. Because I think it's because it's provided for free. It's all free and whatnot. So that's our edge, that we can deploy our AI model in anywhere. Yeah. So once we got funding, we expanded aside from our app and Telegram. We now support app, Telegram, and Facebook Messenger. We now support WhatsApp and SMS, and that's what like our last round of funding is going towards.
Have you checked out USSD?
That goes on cost. Building on top of Africa Stock, you can make that SMS number toll free. So people can text hi to 23629 right now. Text hi and you can get an answer from SophieBot. So it's purely free if you're on a Safaricom line to talk. So there's a added cost to it for this, in order to make that as accessible as possible. Because on all the other platforms there's a data cost. So on that all rule-based version of SophieBot, when you downloaded the app, the knowledge base came with the rules came with on the app, and it kept loading and whatnot. So right now you have to be online to use SophieBot on the app and on all these other platforms that you're on. So it's free and to use on SMS. You can even use it. We don't even have like an SMS plan on. So it's more accessible for guys. The next step for us and what our funding is handling right now is we want to support more local languages, because it works. She answers questions well. The problem is it's in English and she works live on SMS. Is now, can you support local languages? Can you ask? Swahili
is widely spoken in Africa.
So we're working with the CBO in Nyanza to support Swahili, Luya, and Luo. So by January next year, we'll support those three languages.
Very nice. That sounds like a good progress. So you're saying we? Who is we?
Sorry. So now right now it's us at Soyo. So I used to have a large team, but then I bought them out of the company because there's that change in vision. Like, there's that differences in vision where do we still try and figure out how to answer questions, or do we go for a low-hanging fruit where it's a menu-based option? I was like, no, there's more opportunity for growth if we figure out the technology, and I doubled down on that. So that point I bought out from the company. So it's me at this moment. Okay. The most part is, so we're funded by Vilgro. Vilgro are an accelerator specifically focused on health companies. So right now it's me. I bounce ideas to the team at Vilgro, and then right now the addition to the team is the CBA working with in Nyanza. They're called Tembea Kenya. So those are the 3 guys we're working with. And aside from that, UNFP has always been a constant partner to us. So United Nations Population Fund, they're the ones who funded us back in 2016.
Oh, nice.
So even our answers from on Sophie, but are not from our minds. I don't like all the answers from. They have a peer mentor curriculum where they used to teach about sexual health. So answers are from there. So those are the
complement what they teach.
Yeah, we do. So right now it's me and the partners with Vilgro, Tembea, and UNFP, the United Nations Population Fund.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how many user base do you have right now?
So we have 3,000 new users for the last 5 months. So 3,000 users the last 5 months. They've cumulatively asked about 5,000 questions. About 1,500 of them are on SMS. So about a couple of hundreds of users purely on SMS asking us questions. They're excited about those 2 platforms, SMS and WhatsApp. So it's interesting. It's we keep revving that. I think we have an engine of growth. So literally we were quiet, and then August we started like actively making noise again. Our engine of growth is restarting.
Nice. So do you just address is it the question, are they gender based or just general questions?
It's general.
Gender.
It's across the genders. Funny enough is like we have more men asking us questions than
about female questions.
Both. Like so. We can't know like it's a man exactly asking. Exactly asking, but then from the context of the question you can get. So I don't know if should I say this. So a lot of men are worried about the dimensions of the equipment. And Sophie will tell them, don't worry, like the other equipment, like expand and contract. So we have lots of those questions in context. We have questions about the how women respond to sexual stimuli. Like how do I know? So
they're ready or not.
So a lot of answers on that. We have a couple of questions on consent and the like. So
that's complicated, man. I've had those discussions different. Because even right now with the equality discussions and where the women are treated equally, it becomes confusing. Like, how do I know you're consenting to this? Because also as we grow up and how people have been used to, even with our culture, is that sometimes no might mean yes might mean no. But of course nowadays there's like no means no.
No means people,
yes means yes. We thought
this was a myth. Like there are people who wanted to be like who want that insistence, like that it means. I'm like, no, like you be clear and honest with the opportunity. Like do not play games. Do not play games when it comes to consent, because there are some it's an exception to the rule. But then if your partner wants you to like, they'll let you know. And that culture needs to change. There are some me thought it was a myth. Like now you're making that up to like force consent on women. But the people who are shaking, people who are shaking. Like if you mean it more, you like no, like like it's a new day. If you're interested, like be open. And because mixed signals.
But that's a hard discussion.
But then we have a couple
in Nairobi it's easier, but if you go outside Nairobi, it becomes more complicated because also of exposure, the culture, how people are brought up. And this begs me to ask you, have you faced cultural resistance in this? Because also sexual discussions are not so openly in African culture.
So the only the resistance we have is a couple of answers. So and we've baked them in we want to support more than just heterosexual relations, and we have answers that cater past heterosexual relations. And so the only point of fiction is that like somebody ask what coitus is. We have all the different ways people have coitus, not just phallus or vulva. Like, I'm not doing too, because I'm trying to obscure. I'm trying to obscure. Like I don't try to be how open you are with
vulgar.
So more like not all coitus.
Please pause.
Not all coitus.
Explain something, because what you have just said actually explains
the answers.
The cultural upbringing, because sexual conversation is not always openly. Because it's considered either vulgar or taboo or because you don't want to sound out of context because of age and who is listening and whatnot. And also there is what people believe in, and sometimes changing that is really, really hard. It's the hardest thing actually in the world to do. forget about math.
Yeah.
Changing what people believe in, Amukasa.
That's true.
Even God is trying. Or maybe, remember the Babylon story?
Yeah.
The War of Babylon or something. When people try to build something to go.
A tower to go to the heavens, and they're like, putting you different languages.
Yes. God had to do something about it because now people believed actually they could go there. But ideally, that's how hard it is. But of course, I'm sure I understand what you're saying, that people are thinking in a certain way, and now
the answers,
it doesn't sound actually similar to what people
they're
believe.
expecting. Because we have comprehensive answers to cater to more people who are not just heterosexual. Heterosexual. So we cater to more than even ask us what coitus is, and we answer all the different ways many different types of couples actually have coitus. And some people have offense, even like on Twitter.
Take offense,
even post a screenshot with the answers to, and I'm like, that's a comprehensive answer to, and that's what we aim for, to make everyone feel comfortable and provide answers to everyone, no matter how you want to express your sexuality. So that's the only point of conflict. And it's when somebody comes and asks us a question innocently or tries and tests like our knowledge, and then they're like, oh, you people are supporting queer people. I'm like, that's why, because they exist and we have to provide answers for them. They also have sexual health needs, regardless of what your cultural beliefs are, or whether or not you believe they should have access to sexual health information. So that's the point of conflict we have with people.
So Sofibot is meant to serve the whole world or just Africa?
It's Africa, it's Africa and Kenya in general. And then it's us putting that content on social, but it's to acknowledge they exist and they have sexual health needs and they need support for sexual, and they're at more risk than you're heterosexual. They're even at more risk of a lack from a lack of sexual health information. So it's recognizing they exist and they need information. But aside from that, we've been asked questions in 150 and it's up on 100 up. We've been asked questions from all over the world. Yeah.
Okay. So, Bona Iving.
Yeah.
You have talked about everything and anything.
Yeah.
And you have gotten to where you build Sofibot, which is sexual, a solution.
Yeah.
Right. Are you actively, with someone? Have you ever gotten into a relationship? Because that's part and parcel of life, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I saw you, and the reason why I'm asking is because I saw you tweet some nice tweet, but I was like, okay, I'll ask when I get a chance.
Oh, yeah. Swelling good. So what context is what happened in November is a lot of Tekoros will go na achu. It was a conversation on Twitter, like, oh, mwache. So I told people it's better to be it's better to be in love and it's better to be in love and have losses than to have stayed at home watching embarrassing things. Yeah. So not in a relationship at this moment. So again, it's sort of probably comes with my territory. So Sofibot comes first. So I have been in flings. Yes, I am active, and it was safely active. I'm safely active. I've been in flings. Yes, but then I think it comes with the territory. Like one day I'm always all over the place, moving around. The next 3 weeks I'm locking myself home to get something done. So and you can't always be there to form a meaningful relationship. But also I'm also a difficult person to deal with. Like you come late to a date and I'm like, no, that doesn't sit right. That doesn't sit right. So that's a thing. So I'm not dating at the moment, but I've had a couple of flings.
Nice.
Safely, I've had a couple of flings safely. It's important to be safe out there. Pulling out does not work, as we answer. As Sofibot says.
As Sofibot says.
Yeah, Sofibot says. So it's very important to be safe. To be safe out there. Yeah.
For many reasons.
Yeah.
So, of course, that's fine. What was your take on age and sexual activities?
Okay, okay, so whether we like it or not, like teenagers will experiment. So what you have to do is give them the right information to make sure they are safe then, so that their entire lives isn't messed up because they wanted to to express themselves sexually. So that's point one. Point two is we need to modify child molestation laws. So because if it's two people under 18 who consensually have sex, like the law treats that as molestation, like it's child abuse, it's molestation.
And who pays the price?
It goes to the gentleman, the teen boy, and
which
so
is
the young,
unfair.
which doesn't make sense. So we need to add like an addendum. So Romeo and Juliet laws, where it recognizes that it's two people providing consent who are under the age, and then also we need to provide them services, provide them the information, like so that they can delay it's called the sexual debut as much as possible. But if they choose to experiments, actually they do it safely. So all this opposition to churches where they don't provide condoms to kids, they don't teach children what condoms are or how to use them, that is misguided, because like we think this is a problem for that comes with the generation, but then the generation before us, like they had us while they were still like that gap from high school to from primary school to high school. That's when most of us were born, and our parents are
especially firstborns,
a lot of parents are obsessed about not recreating that without giving us the right tools and information. I think I was given the talk around sexual health when after high school, and I was like, this is a bit too late. Like I already know how I wasn't active with that, but then I was like, this is a bit too late. I had an aunt, like I'm 28 now. I had an aunt call me the other day. It was one of those. It's graduation seasons. So and then like whenever it happens, they usually call you to ask you unafanya nini na maisha yako.
They like rubbing it on your face.
Nakuuliza like ile course yako ulikuwa unafanya ilikuwa course nzuri sana. Me tell them like me I'm in a good place now. Even now it's even better. We're getting funded. Things are happening. And then there's this person comment like, when you get money, they're also girls. I'm like, I'm 28. Like I know how to navigate international really. Like I know pesa ni ya kampuni, si ya kupeleka girlfriend. Ya kupeleka girlfriend dia. Like
not marriage. We call what?
Dowry.
Dowry. It's not dowry.
Like yeni pesa, yesi pesa yangu, yeni pesa ya kampuni. So we get those conversations like, it's a bit too late for that. So I know and no one cares about my company more than me. So we have those. I think most parents are doing that late, and people shouldn't say like, schools shouldn't do that. Like it's a theme for parents, because parents are not handling that conversation. You too, even you too, it's awkward and hard for you to have these conversations.
Do you think it's now that you're in sexual education? Do you think it's right to teach people queer education in school?
So whether we like it or not, like queer people will exist. Queer people we need to make sure they are safe. So the point one is to not vilify or stigmatize them. So that's thing one. That's like going to an all boys school. The most embarrassing that could ever happen to you is if somebody, it was rumored you're into boys. So for that, point one is stigma. Point two is if things are stigmatized, people will wait when they're in a position of power to get into queer relations. So there are a lot of like cases, and it even still happens now, like prefects hooking, and it's for 3 whole weeks you're in a boy, you're in a boys' school, and of which like some people are queer. So if you need to provide safe spaces spaces where people can openly and honestly express themselves sexually, so that it limits abuse. People know, by this is actually abuse. This is actually abuse. And if you provide like outlets for people to express that, you curb abuse second ways, where people don't wait where they're in positions of power to express themselves sexually, like as in queer people, or for other people who are in bigger positions of power to exploit younger people, because they're not openly enough to express themselves sexually. But then that aside, I'm not conflating being queer with being a predator, because those are two different. Those are two different things. Because like it comes from the recognition like queer people exist and they need service. The last point is, being queer, like it comes with its own risk, sexual health risk. Queer people need to be aware of the risks and how to protect themselves while they're doing queer relations, or if they get infected and whatnot, how do they get help? How do they get services so that the disease doesn't keep spreading, the infection doesn't keep spreading? Third thing is to dispel the notion that there are diseases for queer people and there are diseases for everyone. No, like diseases are diseases. They spread as long as they can spread through sexual intercourse. They can spread across across the ecosystem. So that's one of the some of the few things we need to dispel, and it will solve a lot of people, things down the line. Because every few weeks in boys' school, there's always a scandal, or there's somebody in a position of power is molesting. And it's not conflating. Like being queer doesn't make you. But some people, because they're queer, they wait when they're in a position of power to express the queerness. So, and letting them know early from, like, you being as you are, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. We do not let any, like, because it's a rule in high school, like, you're not getting laid in high school at all. But no one is getting laid, so don't do anything at all at this level. So that's the dynamics we need to fix. And in the extreme of cases, it's down to that. It's down to lynchings and like lynching queer people. Like, it's not a solution to who they are, because it's if you like, do you like coffee or tea? Like, if you like coffee, like, no matter how much someone, like, you like coffee, you like coffee.
Amukasa is not as simple as you're putting it. Because here we are talking about, and we have had this conversation with a couple of guys before. There are two things I told you cannot really. It's really hard. As much as you want this to change, it's hard. One is belief. Another one is religion. Another one is who someone is. Now, the third one is what you're talking about. Like, it's who and you're ignoring these two, which are very ingrained since you're born, how you're taught, the environment you are in. But it's a good way you're looking at it, that education actually could mean a lot of things for someone and could actually avoid all these things. Maybe the debate where is at what stage, because also even you can be taught this too early and it confuses you altogether. Because like in US, I hear now toddlers or people in class 1 or grade 1 are taught such things, so you're confusing that child. Also, there have been claims people are being infused with hormones without their consent. All these are discussions I've seen actually online and also on big stage. So they're not just rumors. It's something that is actually happening. In Netherlands, I've seen such cases, and I think now in Africa maybe we can approach this in a more better way with these lessons, right? And given in that space, maybe it's something that I don't know.
We need to have. So question is, so if you look at queer people, like they have like endless of examples of how queer people have existed in culture. I think the problem is the white man made us and learn a lot of things that are very, very African, and we now conflate what is religion to what is African, because that religion isn't African at its core. So we need to investigate our roots. And thirdly is, so some people are, especially in some spaces, they're trying to manufacture like outrage, because in the expression, like I think you're talking about trans children across the US. Like, people want them trans children to like express themselves, but then no parent under their mind will let a child undergo specific procedures before they are a specific age. So it's and so they tried it with like queer people. I think queer people covers trans people. So they tried with like people who I like using queers like a general term. They they lost the battle on one front, so they're targeting like trans people, and then they're manufacturing this entire outrage around like people who are trans are again like are pedophiles. Like, it's the same conflation they used on. So there's manufactured outrage, but then there's also concerns for parents. Like, your parents want their children to express themselves as they are, but then they won't let them do the life altering procedures until they are at a specific at a specific age. And that's what, like, there's a consensus on that. Even parents of trans, they want like they let them wear dresses and whatnot, but then like when it comes to like blocking Nini, it's a thing.
It's quite interesting. Quite interesting, and I don't think we can exhaust it in this discussion.
Point is, I wanted to make is like we need to have like open and honest conversations, not not jaded. Like I shouldn't come to the table with preconceived notions on so we should even have like someone who's trans on the table, have a conversation with them and their experience and how they feel, and when they knew like, yo, but they like, I do not want to express this because so we need to have, rather than coming to tables with preconceived ideas of what's the experience of trans people, and that will move it forward. That will move forward, because like how like it's perfectly comfortable for a comedian to dress to make a joke, but then for performances it's now becoming so. It wasn't an issue until the last few years. People are there are bigger horses that are bigger than us trying to drive the conversation, and we'll see it soon enough.
And do you think the reason that it has become a big issue until few years is because also the queer community, as you call it, feels like they're not recognized, or they should be recognized more than everyone else? They should have better experiences than everyone else? Or what do you think that actually made it pop up?
So in the conversations that's been happening, it's like, so people have been showing statistics that more people have been identifying as queer more recently, but that's a consequence of stigma. Like if you reduce stigma, more people will openly express them. And so it's like left-handedness. Like before that, people are being, if you start using your left hand, people cane you to stop using your left. People the actual social sticks and you need to stop you from expressing who you are. And the more like social stigmas, the more social norms and attitudes change, the more people express themselves. So what's happening, it's like people are coming to a situation like queer people exist and exist in our lives, and they shouldn't hide themselves for who they are, because they've been hiding for years and years and running underground communities. So that's what's changing, and people chief at that. But then you'll know, I'm sort of driving this, so you'll notice some people talking about like queer people expressing themselves don't want to see someone who look like you and me in an advertisement, or like this one who was getting upset about a sweater company that has a black woman and a white woman. So the other underlying cultural norms that they don't want to
and that's why for me I brought this up, which is very important when you think about it. And we can talk about different things actually when it comes to this, and one of them would be queer, right? But there are so many other. There is anti-Semitic, there's black versus white. There is privileged versus less privileged.
No, there's somebody who put a board, like an entire board for a restaurant chain. It's all women. I'm like, what's the problem? Like,
you understand?
10
there's
boards.
Gender. So the problem that most people have, and I think even at least for Africans, one of the things that actually people have always had a problem with, me included, is that we are making one issue to be so big and then we ignore everything else, right? Like right now, people are saying, people, it should not be Jewish versus everyone else. It should be like everyone should have. They're right. Because everyone is human, right? Before you categorize, this Jewish, this Arab, this black, this white. The foundation is human, right?
I totally get that.
And do we now ignore all the problems and now focus on this one problem and assume that other problems never existed? And I'll give you an example with Africans, right? Africans have no problem with your sexuality, as long as your sexuality does not interfere with mine, which is Ubuntu, right? We believe you, Amukasa, is Amukasa because I am Mike, right? And Amukasa doesn't have to disappear or be discriminated or be put aside for me to exist, right? But now it's the same thing that you're talking about the religion. That what we call religion today is not African, right?
Essentially.
But even religion in African had its own concepts that are actually aligned with the Ubuntu. So, and since you're in the education sector, I think those are some of the concepts that actually could change even the dynamics of sexuality. It could actually advise better. It could actually present a different concept about all this sexuality and whatnot. So that's the concept that I feel like we could address, because you see, I look at Africa as a place where most of the things have not been explored. if you think about it. And most of the things that you have explored, even in the 60 or 70 years that Africa has had, its independence, as they call it, our history has been erased. That's one of the reasons why I do this podcast, because if you look at it, I don't know how many times you have done interviews across the world, and I know you have done a couple of them.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 minutes is what gets to be heard, or 0 minutes.
Yeah, by the
after hours of conversations, right? But for me, I'm saying any conversation we have here remains as history, remains as what we believe in what we also learn from each other. So I'm looking at it from that perspective, that actually Sophie Boat could advise the whole world how to educate people about this without leaning on this is it or this is it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Because so the problem I hate about talking to people outside the continent about this problem is there's an over insistence on playing up the wishy bits. Like, what's the sadistic core of teenage pregnancies in Kenya? Rather than just saying it's awkward and hard to talk about this in Kenya. Like in this continent, like I can say about that, people absolutely outside Africa, there's an insistence on playing up the you only started you started writing code at 19. There's an insistence to play up the wishy bits. Why? Rather than this is the problem, the solution. We're here as capable individual, not as a charity case too.
And that's very important because it reminds me something. That the reason why I do what I do is because I realized. Maybe you don't know why I do what I do. Maybe I should tell you. I realized that Africa is the most smartest guys. But as you say, the education for us is presented as a way out of poverty.
Yeah.
I know the enemy is the poverty, no doubt about that. But should we be poor? Do you know in the whole world, Africa is the most richest by all definitions, right?
True.
We all know, you and I, who have gone to school, that most of the other continents exist because of our resources, right?
True.
Now, I'm not saying they're poor. I'm just saying if we put all the ulabalu aside and state the facts.
How is Switzerland? Is it Switzerland the chocolate capital of the world? Like they don't have a single cocoa tree. They don't have a single cocoa tree. How are they the chocolate capital of the world?
If we have those conversations, we can say. And I'm not saying there's any. I don't have anything against anyone. I'm just saying. Poverty is the enemy in Africa, but should we be poor? That's the question I'm trying to address. Because if we remove the poverty, then we're able to address so many other underlying things. Even sexuality education should be not an issue because now we have the resources. Because most of the molestation, most of the choices are made out of that a desperate situation where like maybe a girl needs a pad. They have sex, and then they get HIV. Which now their life is messed up, right? Or pregnancy, or STIs, all these things. So as we think about all these scenarios that actually prop all these other problems that we need to solve, I realize that we are the most smartest. And the best way to go about this is that how can we actually use that, like you are doing, and defying the process of spending your 16 years in college, in primary, and wherever, and say, well, I know how to build this, let me go and build it, and then see how the world receives it, and I will make a decision based on that, which is so fascinating if you think about it. I don't know if you have ever heard about this, and that's how I like looking at it. And that does not make you better or bad than someone who has graduated. Maybe they have a reason. Maybe if someone becomes a lecturer, all and good, because they contribute something. So, but if we put all these aspects together, then we find the true power and the true meaning of being an African.
Sure.
Right? And this also brings us to why do Black Americans don't like coming back to Africa? Now, when we get to that, also maybe it's lack of education, because the way Africa is painted out there, maybe it's not the right way. Maybe the education they get there is the wrong one. And now when you see all these, now you see solutions that actually you can build on top of Sophie Boat and grow it to be some go-to resource.
Absolutely, that makes sense. Absolutely, that absolutely makes sense. Because our introduction to Africa is the same as the white man. It's it's either Lion King, we're living, like you have a pet lion, or you don't have food. Like there's an entire meme, you don't have food or water. And I'm like,
it's crazy.
Africa is as prone to inequalities as the same as where they live, and they need to like reform and learn that. And yeah, we can be an outlet for that. The good thing I like, because and then it goes across like the diaspora and people like that, is like we retained our sense of community.
Yes,
which
is so powerful, very powerful.
It doesn't make sense. Like you get into and don't say hi to like guys.
It's weird,
like,
man.
It doesn't make sense. Like you don't know who lives next door to you, even though you don't want to talk about. Like I think it's very foreign to people outside. Like when they come to this side of town, they're like, oh, there's a WhatsApp group for the institute.
What? And it's just normal.
It's normal. So I think that's the thing we can start from. Like there's a sense of community ingrained in all of us, and that can be a point of convergence, and we can build on top of that.
Absolutely. So Amukasa, that was a very good conversation that we have had, and thank you for honoring our invite. I know we have postponed this for a whole year, but now it has happened. This is amazing. I don't know what message you have for our listeners. Maybe encourage them to subscribe.
Check out
our socials and our channels for support, and maybe parting shots.
So I was even worried. Like I was worried, like you don't want me to start the primary. I was like, history turns mbali sana. But then now it's good. I was like, tafikia Sophie Bots again. But then we went through the journey and we covered it. Check out Sophie Bot. Say hi to Sophie Bot today on 23629. Go out there and have open and more like, aside from check out Sophie Bot, have open and honest conversations. The last plug is like I've been a fan of like Africa's Talking way before. So they like from before, like the value proposition was clear. Like rather than dealing with telcos directly and how fast you need to build a solution with them, it's faster to build with solutions like Africa's Talking. Like I never left the house to build a SMS solution. Like it was back and forth on email for a week, and solution was done. And I know that like we want that for every other solution that's built outside there. So aside from that, go out there and try new things and drive open and honest conversations on sexual health.
Nice. Thank you so much. So I made it a habit to conclude with a proverb, African proverb.
Awesome.
So I have one for you and for our listeners, which says, "There's no part of the meat that is not tasty. To see it and to look away is the important thing." I'll repeat. There is no part of the meat that is not tasty. To see it and to look away is the important thing. I'll leave that to your translation. Until next time, this is Michael Kimathi, or if you want, MK, representing Impact Masters Podcasts in collaboration with Africa's Talking Retold Podcasts, coming to you live from Nairobi, Kenya. And our guests, Amukasa Iving, the CEO and founder of SophieBot. Check out SophieBot. SophieBot.
It's SophieBot on all platforms. At Miss SophieBot on all platforms. Text hi to 23629.
Very nice. And get sexually educated, as they said. Until next time, thank you so much.